Hi, welcome to the Crush Your Sugar Craving Summit. I'm Michelle Jolly with Healthy Horizons Coaching. Today we're going to be interviewing Dr. Jacob Teitelbaum. Dr. T is one of the most frequently quoted integrative pain and fibromyalgia medical authorities in the world. He is the author of the best-selling From Fatigue to Fantastic, Pain-Free 123, The Complete Guide to Beating Sugar Addiction, The Real Cause, Real Cure, The Fatigue and Fibromyalgia Solution, Diabetes is Optional, and the popular smartphone app Cures A to Z. He is a lead author in 4 studies on effective treatment of fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue syndrome, and a study on effective treatment of autism using NAET. Dr. T appears often as a guest on news and talk shows nationwide, including Good Morning America, The Dr. Oz Show, Oprah and Friends, CNN, and Fox News Health. You can find out more information at www.vitality101.com and endfatigue.com. Let's welcome Dr. T. Thanks for being with us today. It's so great to have you.
Awesome to be with you all. So let me give you a thought. What if you could make your sugar cravings go away really easily? And beyond that, for those of you with fatigue, pain, or fibromyalgia, if you could make those go away pretty easily as well too. So the good news is that you can. Our research has looked at this and shown that highly effective treatment is available. So we're going to make some very complex information very, very simple for you today. So get yourself a piece of paper and a pen and take notes, because you are going to get your life back and know how to do that by the time we're done today.
Sounds great.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with how you kind of got started in health and wellness and why it's important to you. And how you like sharing the information.
Well, it's funny because, most of you who have fibromyalgia or pain, you go to the doctor and the doctor is, what's the medical term I'm looking for? Oh, clueless. No, has no idea with it. But you'll find that there's some people that are very familiar with CFS and fibromyalgia and pain. And what they all have in common usually is either they had it or had a family member with it. So I got into this area the old-fashioned way. I came down with a drop-dead flu in medical school. I was paying my own way through medical school and working, and I was too sick to work. So I actually found myself homeless, sleeping in parks. And it was like the universe put a holistic homeless medical school sign on my park bench. Herbalists came by, energy workers, naturopaths, holistic doctors, chiropractors. All these folks came by. Sometimes they even had pizza and I would eat. It was funny. Um, and they all taught me bits and pieces of what I needed to learn to recover and get my life back. And I've spent the last 45 years researching, teaching, and treating folks so that they can learn how to have effective treatment and how to get well. This is my passion, and it's a lot of fun because I've seen myself get well, and I know you can too. So that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, thanks. We're
Mhm.
excited to learn more.
Mhm.
We could start off with uh, the topic that a lot of people are thinking about these days, COVID.
Mhm.
And yeah, how I've heard that like a quarter of the people that die from COVID have diabetes, so sugar is big involvement in that, and also with our immune systems. And can
Mm.
you talk to that?
Absolutely, because again, this is all kind of optional stuff. So let's take a look. What about sugar and COVID? Well, if you take a look, if you look at the news media, which is, it's funny. When I was a kid, the Madison Avenue news media mantra was sex sells. And about 20 years ago, switched to fear and hatred sells. So you'll notice that they try to scare you to death about everything. It's not like what's happening in the world today. It's like today's crisis. You're going to die from this and this. And they want to make you hate everybody else. Have you tried having a discussion on COVID or politics with one of your neighbors who has a different perspective? There's no discussion anymore. It's like hating. It's like there's no middle ground. It's
Mhm.
because the misinformation in the media has been so intense. Again, The good people, I know them and God bless them, but it's an institutional problem that they have. And if you think it's new, by the way, Mark Twain put it very well, or at least reported to. He said that, well, if you don't read the news, you're uninformed. But if you do read the news, you're misinformed. And Jefferson was less gracious than that, 250 years ago, and it's only gotten worse. So what we're looking at is that most of the stuff on the media is, how should we say, a dramatization. I don't care which side you're looking at,
Yeah.
meant to scare you to death and hate each other. So what's really going on? What I do is I ignore the news and I go straight to primary sources. I
Mhm.
will look at the study itself and tear it apart. I will listen to what the person said over an hour, not over its 30-second soundbite. I will look at the big picture and go to primary sources. And otherwise, I just presume I don't know. So with COVID, again, this is not the plague. If you look at the bubonic or black plague, that killed one half of the population, 1 in 2 people. Uh, if you look at normal deaths year in and year out in the United States, just every year, one out of about 100 people die each year. That's just normal and natural. Uh, COVID is estimated to kill 1 in 2,000 people, not 1 in 2,
Yeah.
but 1 in 2,000. This is not the plague. It's something that we need to be cautious and take, be serious and take proper actions about. But it is not the reason for panic that the news
Mhm.
media is giving. Now, let me give some other data. If you have a room full of people, and the research looks at this, or people who live in homes or family members of people with COVID, only about a third of people, even less than that, will catch it, even living in the same home with a person.
Mhm.
Um, and of those who catch it, only about half will get any symptoms. Roughly half of people are asymptomatic, don't even know they had it.
Mhm.
And then of what's left over, that little small percent, for most people, it's just like a bad flu. And then you have that really small percent where you get to the 10% where it's more severe, 1% that die, that you see the viral activation, the cytokine storm, all of these other things that go on. And that's the news media focuses on that 2 to 5%, where how about if we focused on what you can do to be in the 95% of people that will never have a bit of problem from this. So let's start. Number one, if you're diabetic, I have a very small, simple book called Diabetes is Optional. I can get on Amazon. But a couple of simple things, what you'll hear about in this whole summit about cutting down sugar can save your life. You also want to increase your magnesium intake unless you have kidney failure. That's a different story. But otherwise, um, the there's some. Oh, let me mention for the COVID. There's a couple simple things here before we go into diabetes that can put you in that 90+% of people that never
Mhm.
have a bit of problem from it, even if you come in contact. And what the studies are suggesting is that zinc, Z-I-N-C, is poison to the virus.
Mhm.
Um, and I recommend daily 15 milligrams a day, vitamin C 500 milligrams a day, vitamin D 1,000, and vitamin K 100 units a day, or 100 micrograms. All of this can be found, and write this one down. It's called the Energy Revitalization System. It's a vitamin powder, and it has all of these. So that simple nutrient can really keep your immune system very strong and keep you safe. For short periods of time, I recommend that you add an additional 40 milligrams of zinc, 30 to 40 milligrams a day for a month just to fill the tank because it's that important. Um, and the vitamin C, if you get the virus, I up vitamin C to 500 milligrams 4 times a day. But most people who do that are just going to sail through the virus. Get a good night's sleep, critical for
Mhm.
immune function. The vitamin powder, the energy revitalization system, also has 200 milligrams a day of magnesium, and it has chromium. And both of these are very important at decreasing the risk of diabetes. So if you have diabetes, cut back the sugar, increase fiber, um, do the vitamin powder, and then there are two herbs. One is called Sucontral D, Sucontral. There are about 10 studies now showing that that decreases glycosylated hemoglobin by about 1% after 6 to 9 months. So
Mm.
if you're running at a 7.5 percent, after about 6 to 9 months, that on average will bring it down to about 6.5%, which is no longer diabetic.
Yeah.
Um, berberine, and I like a form
Mm.
called berberine METX, 500 milligrams 3 times a day, also dramatically improves blood sugar. So when I say in the title of my book, Diabetes is Optional, I called it that because diabetes
Yeah.
is optional. Um, Metformin is a very good medication. I tease that it should be an honorary health food store medication.
Yeah.
But the main problem, some people get diarrhea, nausea, most not. But the main thing is that it will cause vitamin B12 deficiency. Presume it will,
Mm.
which can aggravate diabetic neuropathy, or what they think is neuropathy from diabetes, if you are not taking a multivitamin that has B12. The energy revitalization system will have 500 micrograms of B12. Easy peasy, you're covered. So these are simple things that you can do
Yeah.
to stay safe with the virus, even if you have diabetes. In fact, if you're worried about having diabetes with the virus, then make the diabetes go away. These simple
Yeah.
things can do that. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, everybody can get healthy. So we can
yeah,
get
it's
out
not
and
rocket science. The
yeah.
problem, Michelle, is not the lack of effective treatments. It's lack of physician education about anything
Yeah.
that's not god awful expensive.
All right. Yeah. Too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you don't have to wait for them to get it. They're good
No.
doctors. They really think they're doing the right thing. But as
Yeah.
the New England Journal of Medicine editor described most continuing medical education as slick advertising masquerading as science.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
good people,
Yeah.
crappy system.
Right.
Here's the information you need. It doesn't matter. You can get yourself well.
Yeah. Yeah. Take control of your own health. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, we also talk about, you have a book about sugar addiction. What are there's, I think you mentioned there's 4 types of sugar addiction.
Yep. There are four main things that are driving the sugar addictions, Michelle. So once you understand these, it's really easier to address the underlying cause of the
Mm.
sugar addiction. Then you won't crave it anymore. It makes it much easier to come off. I remember in medicine, when I first started treating people and telling them to come off sugar, I teased with my sugar addicts that you need to come off sugar, but for the next 10 days, if I am in a dark parking lot and I see a pair of headlights coming in on me and you in the driver's seat, I am ducking for cover because the withdrawal can be nasty. But if you do this simple thing and find which sugar addiction type you are,
Mhm.
and again, shameless plug, the complete guide to beating sugar addiction will go through all this, but you don't even need that. You'll have what you need in the next 30 seconds. So, number one, are you reaching for sugar because you're tired? Basically, are you using sugar like an energy loan shark? If so, a simple thing, we talked about the energy revitalization system vitamin powder.
Mhm.
You do that, and there's something else called the smart energy system, which is a mix of ribose and 6 herbs. Um, those two together will usually increase energy an average of 100%. It doubles energy in the average person within a month.
Uh,
So smart energy system plus the energy revitalization system. These can both be found at endfatigue, ENDFATIGUE.com. Um, and you'll see in a month. It will get rid of your needing these energy loan shark drinks that you've been doing. Type 2, do you get irritable when hungry? And if you're not sure whether or not you do, just ask the people around you. And if you ask them, do I get irritable when hungry? And they have this look of panic on their face, like they're afraid to answer, you have low blood sugar and adrenal fatigue. So, a very simple thing to do with that, to cut back the sugar, it'll be easier as you do this. Increase your salt intake
mhm.
and take a supplement called Adrenaplex, ADRENAPLEX. You can find that anywhere. We have it on our website, but Amazon, most health food stores, easy. It will smooth the low blood sugars right out, and it's way, way cheaper than a divorce lawyer. It's
Okay.
really, really good. So keep it simple with that. Number three would be Candida.
Mhm.
And unlike the low adrenal, where if there's anybody between you and that chocolate bar when you have low blood sugar, it's like standing between a mama bear and her cub. It's like, you know.
Yeah.
Um, with the candida, it's what I call the happy Twinkie hunter. You're just going through the cabinets looking for something sweet to eat. The way that you tell: nasal congestion, chronic sinusitis, runny nose, postnasal drip, clearing your throat a lot, or irritable bowel syndrome, gas, bloating,
Mm,
diarrhea, constipation. That suggests candida overgrowth. There's not a test that I would give a nickel for that's reliable. Those simple symptoms will tell you. Treatment, medication, diflucan, 200 milligrams a day, not for one day, it's not going to do anything, but for 6 weeks. Um, Combined with natural things like either Capralex or Lufeneron are very good, and a good probiotic. I like the Pearls Elite, but there's a number of very good
mm,
probiotics out there. For those with sinusitis, there's a sinusitis nose spray that the ITC compounding pharmacy makes, taken along with the diflucan. In most people, it helps the chronic sinusitis go away, which for many people, it's the first time in years they can breathe through their nose.
mm,
So, and then the fourth type of sugar craving are women going through perimenopause who are getting
mm.
anxious, depressed. And for that, simply the bioidentical hormones can take care of it.
Okay, great. So yeah, great ways we can start to reduce our sugar cravings and get started. Yeah, so you do a lot of work with people with fibromyalgia also. What help
Mhm.
people, maybe they don't know if they have it, or what does it look like? What does the symptoms look like?
Yeah, I treat people worldwide, and it can usually be done by phone. And my
Mm,
new patient consultation is 3 hours of my one-on-one time. It's a very complex illness. You really need to just determine what's causing the energy crisis, because at heart it is an energy crisis, and the causes vary dramatically from person to person. But let's go through some of the key things that you can do on your own, and they'll give you an understanding of the disease. So number one, it's an energy crisis, so you trip a circuit breaker called the hypothalamus. That circuit breaker controls sleep, hormones, temperature regulation, blood pressure, pulse, and sweating, and gut function. So all of those go offline. Um, the the way to tell, you don't need a single test to tell if you have fibromyalgia: tired, achy, brain fog, can't sleep. And I'll make it even easier for you. If you find that you're exhausted and you can't sleep even though you're exhausted, that's a paradox. Normally you're exhausted, you sleep
yeah.
all weekend. But if you're exhausted and can't sleep, that tells you that you tripped the sleep center, the hypothalamic
Mm,
circuit breaker, which controls sleep, and that this process is in play. So exhausted and can't sleep. And then if you have widespread pain and brain fog, that just clinches it. So it's that simple. On my website at vitality101.com, there's a step 2 is a quiz. You do the quiz, it'll tell you if you have fibromyalgia in 5 minutes or chronic fatigue syndrome. Um, so basically, you have an energy crisis, you tripped a circuit breaker. The good news is our published research has shown that 91% of people improve, with an average 90% increase in quality of life, by optimizing energy production with what we call the SHINE protocol. And S stands for sleep, hormones, infections, nutrition, exercise is able. And the exercise, small part, it's just part of conditioning. So you do these things, and you are going to find that in most cases you get your life back, and your sugar cravings will go away. But it helps to come off the sugar, which is easier once the cravings go away,
mm,
um, because that's a key part of not blowing your energy reserves.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, good stuff.
So,
Um,
would you like to go through each of the components of Shine,
sure,
or?
yeah. Why don't we, yeah, go a little deeper into the shine?
Yeah, because if you take a look, um, so those of you with whether you have regular fatigue or pain or
Mm,
fibromyalgia, what we're going to talk about here is really going to apply to you and will help you. So, for those of you who have trouble sleeping, even without fibromyalgia, given the stress of the COVID
mm,
scare that's being done, um, it helps to be able to get some sleep support, and that can be done very easily. There's a mix of herbs. My favorite is called the Revitalizing Sleep Formula. It's a mix of 6 herbs. Another wonderful mix of 4 essential oils is called Terrific, ZZZZ.
Mm.
Melatonin, but the only form of melatonin I'm going to recommend is one made by Nature's Bounty. Um, and the brand is dual spectrum 5 milligrams. That works really well for people, and most others don't do much. That one's only available either on Amazon or at Walgreens. So
Mm.
for most of you with day-to-day insomnia, one or all three of those together can help. If it's more stubborn, hemp select, which is the only form of hemp oil I use, except for those at dispensaries. No THC, over the counter. Works like a charm for most people, helps their sleep, helps pain, helps anxiety, but it is a bit pricey. And many brands seem to spend all their money on advertising and labels, and what's in the bottle is nothing. Um, so I'm very picky about what I use. So the hemp select hemp oil, anywhere from 1 to 5 at bedtime for sleep, depending on the degree of the problem. You can't overdose on it. They give kids with epilepsy 2,000 a day
Mhm.
of the pills. So anyway, so these simple things can get most people sleeping. For those of you with fibromyalgia, it's going to take more. And you'll find that a low dose of 4 or 5 treatments will get you sleeping better than a high dose of one treatment, because a high dose of one treatment, you're going to be hungover till middle of the next afternoon. So Ambien to fall asleep, low dose flexural trazodone or Neurontin to help you stay asleep. Now, there's over 30 things you can use, but for most people, a mix of these natural and prescription treatments at very low dose for the medications will get you sleeping. And if not, then we have, like, say, 25 more things we can give.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
good.
so, so
So
that's sleep.
the sleep, yeah. And then next H is hormones, you said?
Hormones.
Yeah.
So hormonal support. Um, Basically, let's start with low thyroid. So many of you have gone to the doctor, you're tired, achy, weight gain, cold intolerant, you're a poster child for hypothyroidism, and the doctor says the test is in the normal range and you want to kill them. So instead of killing them, get a little bit of understanding here. What does being in the normal range mean?
Mhm.
Because I will tell you, your doctor has no idea in most cases. Most doctors rely almost entirely on the lab test normal range in their decision making, and they have no idea where the normal range comes from. I'll lecture to 500 doctors at a time, and I love asking the question, where does the normal range for blood tests come from? And it's funny, it's like looking in the audience, and it's like 500 deer in the headlights looking back and be like, huh? They've never thought of that question before. They
Hmm.
figure that a group of wise old elders get together and say, well, if it's in this range, it's fine. Don't worry about it. No such thing. They take 100 people, 100 healthy people, do the test, and the highest and lowest 2% are defined as abnormal, and the 95 in the middle are defined as normal. Two standard deviations. That's how the normal range comes from. So, an example I like to give my friend Dr. Oz that he likes to run with is that if you wanted normal range for shoe sizes, it would be size 5 to 13. So, if you go in wearing my size 12 shoe, the doctor will say, Michelle, there's no problem. Your shoe is in the normal range.
Yeah.
If I have a size 7, the doctor's going to say the shoe is fine, even with my size 12 foot. So, if you're a tired, achy, weight gain, cold intolerant, you have 2 or 3 of those things, even 2. And if you have fibromyalgia, almost period, you deserve a trial of the bioidentical thyroid hormone by prescription,
Mm.
not adjusted to the blood test, but adjusted to the dose that feels best. Because if you have lose your shoes, and I put you in a size 6 when you have my foot, and say, well, it's normal now, which is how most doctors do it, that
Yeah.
doesn't work really well. You keep going 7, 8, 9, 10. How does that feel? Tight. 11, better. 12, yeah, that's good. 13, too big. Okay, 12 is the right size. You
Yeah.
adjust the thyroid. Feel good, better, 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 good. I'll feel a little kind of overstimulated. Okay, cut the dose back. That's the right dose. And then you check only the free T4 blood test, not the TSH, which is the worst garbage, most dangerous test that has caused the most harm of any test ever in human history.
Mm.
You can tell I'm not fond of the TSH blood test.
Oh, yeah.
Um, If you look at the science, it's a disaster, but doctors will rely only on that a lot of times. Use a
Mm-hmm.
free T4 blood test, blah, blah, blah. Thyroid if you're tired, achy, weight gain, cold intolerant. We talked about adrenal. You get irritable when hungry. Take the Adrenaplex, increase salt and water intake. Infections, Candida is the main one, nasal congestion, sinusitis. Go with the diflucan, the probiotic, that kind of stuff. Nutritional support. Um, that's a really important area. So, you know, people ask what vitamin or mineral do I need, and the answer is all of them by definition. And back, oh God, about 30 years ago, I got really tired of people having to take handfuls of pills all day to get their basic
Mm-hmm.
nutritional support. Um, so I designed this vitamin powder where one drink replaces over 50 pills. And if you think I'm pulling your leg, if you can get what's in the one drink in less than 35 pills, and again, I lecture to PhD nutritionists all around the world. Nobody's been able to do it yet. Most people take 60 or 70 pills to get what's in the one drink. I'll give you a free bottle if you can get in the 35 pills or less. So the do this simple. Cut back the sugar, increase salt, increase water. Take the energy revitalization system. This is for anybody who wants more energy. The energy revitalization system. Plus, there's something called smart energy system. I would write these two down: energy revitalization system and smart energy system. Go to the website end, so E and like Nancy, D, fatigue.com, endfatigue.com. You can find them there. Use those two together. And most people find on average, and this is what the research suggests and shows, that they will double their energy within a
Mm-hmm.
month. And this is healthy energy. This is not energy loan
Yeah.
shark energy. Um, and then we just finished a study of a third nutrient, a third very unique thing that's never been used before for fibro. And write this one down too. It's called recovery factors. It's actually a serum extract of polypeptides that's been used for 15 years in hospitals for severe malnutrition. But what they were finding is that people's fibromyalgia and other complex illnesses seemed they were getting a lot better. So my friend and I decided let's do a study on this. And we just finished the study and we're submitting the publication this week for the study. And what we saw was 60% of people improved. There's an average 69% increase in both energy and quality of life. Sleep improved, anxiety went down, gut function improved,
Mm-hmm.
cognition improved dramatically. So, and people saw this within 1 month.
Wow.
So, if you want to do those three things for just day to day fatigue, energy revitalization system, and smart energy system. For people who have severe issues that need to increase energy and overall healing better, add the recovery factors to that. And give yourself a month, and then you can write me a letter telling me how awesome you feel.
Good. Yeah. All right.
So that's shine. And then let me just note something for pain, because a lot of people who
Yeah.
are listening are going to have pain.
Yeah.
We mentioned the hemp select hemp oil, but there's another herbal mix called Curamin,
Mm-hmm.
Curamin. Give it 6 weeks, and it's been a pain relief miracle for a lot of people. I've had people who narcotics didn't touch the pain, and 6 weeks later on the Curamin and the vitamin powder makes a big difference too for that, and sleep. Those things make pain go away. And again, most pain can be effectively treated unless you happen to be relying on your doctor to do so.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Is there just kind of figure out how many the dose you need, or kind of like the?
Curamin, I'll 1 3 times a day is plenty for most people. In the beginning, if it's severe pain, I'll give 2 tablets 3 times a day.
Mhm.
Um, and I give it 6 weeks to see the full effect. Then you lower it to whatever you need. The funny thing about pain is like a fire. Once you put the fire out and keep it out for 3 months, often it stays gone.
Mm.
And this is studies with both the herbals and with the arthritis medicines. When they look after 3 months, the medications are no more effective than the placebo because the pain is gone because you put the fire out.
Great. Sorry, my phone is going off. But um, the sugar. Getting back to sugar. Um, What are some other things that people really should know about sugar affecting their body?
Well, again, you're going to see that sugar is one of the major causes of diabetes, pain, metabolic syndrome, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, probably cancer via immune suppression and nutrient depletion because it replaces our empty calories. And these are just the tip of the iceberg. Anxiety, depression. If you want to take another 45 minutes, we'll keep listing things. So it's, the again, sugar by itself is not bad. We've been eating fruit and making apple pies for millennia. That's not a bad thing. The problem is that the food industry has been adding 140 pounds of sugar per person per year into the diet and food processing. That's 18% of our calories. Even if you're doing juices, if you have a 16-ounce orange juice, that has the same amount of sugar as 16 ounces of soda, three-quarter teaspoon per ounce. So you're getting 12 spoons of sugar. That's insane. Um, so you want to eat an orange, an orange will have 2 teaspoons of sugar. So to get those same 12, you'd have to eat 6 oranges. So if you want to sit down and eat 6 oranges at a pop, knock yourself out. I'm just sit there and laugh at you and watch. But anybody can slug down 16 ounces of orange juice without thinking, but you're not going to eat the 6 oranges. So enjoy your fruit. Enjoy the foods that are whole and unprocessed. Vegetable juices are fine. Carrot juice, maybe a bit of sugar, but still overall. But eat the whole fruit instead of the
Mhm.
fruit juices. Cut out the fruit juices and the sodas, and you'll find that two-thirds to three-quarter of your sugar intake is gone.
Mhm.
So start there. Um, I will note that my body doesn't like sugar because for my old fibromyalgia, I had the adrenal fatigue and the candida, and if I do a lot of sugar, those come back. But I do have my sweet tooth, and I will for sugar-free chocolates, Lily's and the Good Chocolate. Those are two companies make really good tasting sugar-free chocolate with no maltitol, so it's not going to have that
Mhm.
laxative effect when you take it,
Yeah.
so you can enjoy it. The Stevia Select has wonderful tasting. You may have seen me sipping on my coffee, which is just one shot, but a lot of milk and ice. But it tastes like an ice cream sundae. I use the chocolate, the berry, vanilla, all of these Stevia Select, or there's a number of companies make good ones. No calories, all natural, no sugar. Keep your pleasure.
Yeah.
Toss the sugar. It's easy to do.
Yeah. So that kind of brings up another thing is the artificial sweeteners. What
Mm.
do you think about that in the body? Does that, I've heard like the artificial sweeteners make your body think you're going to get the sugar, but then you don't. And so you crave it more.
Well, the artificial sweeteners, the problem that people have um, is that anything that stimulates the sweet tooth will stimulate insulin release.
Mm,
So it's not without its issues. But on the other hand, um, it's, you know, it's just not. Oh, there you are. Okay. um, but you don't get the sustained insulin release like you do from sugar. So you're going to see if
mm,
they do an immediate insulin level, you have something sweet. It tells your body carbs are coming, make insulin. You're going to see that for anything that stimulates the taste buds for sweet.
mm,
But the sugar will cause fermentation of yeast and throw off the gut
mm,
biome.
mhm,
Most of the artificial ones, at least the yellow packet ones, also seem to do that. But I haven't seen that with stevia. In fact, the stevia,
mhm.
for those of you with Lyme disease, there's some nice research showing that the stevia basically suppresses Lyme.
Oh, wow.
So you're going to be getting the benefits from the
Yeah.
stevia. So again, I challenge people to point to anything um, that I can't make you neurotic about. And the media loves to do that. Light bulbs. Oh, well, you can trigger seizures by the flash. Give a break, Um, but in real life, I think the stevia is fine. And frankly, if I'm going out to a movie, you're going to see me there with the big Diet Coke and a popcorn. You know,
Yeah.
Are they perfect? No, but I think they're okay. Here or there. I don't go to that many movies, but so the trick is to not worry about everything, but to just use
Mm,
common sense and figuring out
okay.
what are the real issues? The high sugar, and the way you tell how much sugar there is in a product, because the label will try to hide it. A simple rule of thumb: everything you see on the label pretty much is advertising,
Yeah.
which means it doesn't have to have anything to do with the truth, with the exception of the small nutrition label box and ingredients. In the nutrition label box, you look at added sugars, you'll see how many grams. Most people don't know grams of sugar. Here's how you make it English: divide the grams of sugar by 4, and that's how many teaspoons there are per serving. And then instead of counting grams of sugar all day, which is a horrible way to spend the rest of your life, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Just look at, oh, well, this has like 6 teaspoons of sugar. It has 24 grams. Do I really want 6 teaspoons of sugar in this?
Yeah.
You know, so then your own common sense will tell you. Once you know that, how many spoons of sugar per serving, and make sure you're looking at the per serving, and there's not 3 servings in the container that
Right.
you're taking at once. Then let common sense guide you.
Yeah. Yeah. Great advice. Yeah. A lot of people are probably curious about that. So, we're kind of coming to the end of our 30-minute talk now. You're offering a great free gift for everybody. You're going to give your 3 Steps to Happiness ebook. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, you can download the ebook Three Steps to Happiness. It's a book that I wrote for the people I treated. I just did a run of like 6,000 for them. Very short, simple book. Give you 3 steps, and you follow those 3 steps, you will be happy. You're going to find yourself, it's funny, people look at me and say, "How can you be happy all the time?" Because I am. And the book will tell you how to do it. But it's funny, I once the 6,000 books ran out, I just kind of went on to like my other 9 books that I've written. Um, and I was looking on Amazon one day and I saw that the books were going for $300 a piece
Oh.
because they're out of print. And I said, this is insane. So I just put out as an ebook. You save yourself 300 bucks,
Yeah.
download the ebook. That's free for being here and taking the time to listen to me, how we say in Hawaii, talk story with you. And but again, there's simple things you can do when you go to your doctor and your doctor says, "I'm sorry, I can't help you." They're good people. They're just being honest with
Yeah.
you. But it doesn't mean you can't be helped. It means
And
they have not been taught how to help you, which means there's nothing extraordinarily expensive and profitable that can help you. That's all it means.
yeah.
Your doctor doesn't know that. But there's so much you can do for so many things that you can get yourself well, often using natural or the best of natural and prescription therapies. Not hard to do.
Yeah. Great. We'll have to grab some of your books and
Mhm.
get
Well,
reading.
start with the Cures A to Z phone app. It's free.
Okay.
There's a $2 upgrade. Over 100 conditions. They'll tell you. It's like having my brain in your pocket, but not as messy.
Yeah.
You know, there it is.
Yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, I was gonna grab that right after this. Yeah, but thanks so much for being with us today. It's been great chatting with you and learning so much.
That's
Um,
a lot of fun. And thank you again for bringing health to so many people. This is
yeah,
really a gift that Michelle is giving you. And
yeah.
you're going to find that the information you get in this series from people can change your life. So have fun
Okay. All
and be
right.
well.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Or anything else you wanted to say? Yeah.
Well, as I live in Hawaii, I
Oh,
truly believe we can create anything in the world we choose. And I
uh,
decided, people ask what's Hawaii like, and I say it's kind of like going to heaven, but skipping the messy dying part. So from
yeah.
Hawaii, everybody, like to
Yeah.
wish you all an aloha and have a great life because why not? You can.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay.